G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. If you guys love these kinds of stories, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell to get notifications as well every single time I upload, but without further ado, I want you guys to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user Hamdullah, titled, Boyfriend 30 male and I 22 male were mugged. He sprinted off and left me alone with the mugger. He claims he was running for help, but I didn't hear from him for over an hour. I'm just wondering how bad I should blow up his crap. Edit, sorry about the title, I'm 22 female. On Tuesday night, my boyfriend and I were out. He parked in an alley because it's free. As we got out of his car, this tiny little homeless-looking guy stepped out with a screwdriver and said something like, "All I need is a hit. Give me $20 and no one gets hurt." My boyfriend sprinted away. He didn't even look behind him, so I was stuck with the mugger, and since I only had my phone on me, he rubbed his hands all over me while holding the screwdriver to my throat. He wasn't getting off on it, but it was still so traumatizing as he thought that I was hiding money in my bra and underwear. I kept hoping that Aiden would be coming back with the cops, but nothing. The homeless guy eventually realized I had nothing and just left down the other end of the alley. I walked around the corner, and less than a block away there was 2 police officers. So I told them, and all of a sudden downtown is lit up, and they were able to find the guy in less than 5 minutes. I rode with the police to the station to ID the guy. Maybe an hour later, Aiden calls and said, "I have the police, are you okay?" And I exploded on him, telling him that I'm at the effing police station and have been for an hour. He tried to tell me he was so scared he didn't know what to do and ran immediately to the police. I told him he was a liar because the 2 police I'd found had been there all night and he must have run past them. After some serious arguing, he admitted that he had gone to hide in a park about 3 blocks away. I was disgusted, and he kept hiding when he heard all of the sirens because he thought that meant I had been stabbed or worse. What in the actual F? I told him to come pick me up and he said he couldn't because he doesn't like cops and is afraid they would laugh at him. Well, he was right, because 2 very cool young cops gave me a ride home and they laughed and joked about him the entire way. Yesterday, he finally called at around noon and I told him don't bother as we're broken up. He then spent the next 8 hours texting me a combination of calling me names, begging me to come back to him, and explaining what he had done had been the smartest thing for the both of us. He said had he not run, his natural rage would have taken over and he would have killed the guy. Sure. My question is, how scorched earth do I go in this breakup? Let him have some dignity, or do I blow up his shit? TLDR, boyfriend left me during a mugging. Do I ruin his life in the breakup process? Me personally, everything he's saying is an outright lie. I'm just getting those cringe Tumblr post vibes. It's like, babe, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I'd turn into a werewolf. I'd rip him to shreds. Oh my god, don't get me out at a full moon. I would absolutely tear that homeless person apart, and it'd be worse for the both of us. Like, shut up, man. Shut up. You are not that guy. This boyfriend is a pussy. He's going to do it again. He's spoken through his actions. Taking this guy back would only further put your life in danger because any whiff of actual danger to both of your lives, he is out of there. There is no fight. There is only flight with this man, and he has proven that. Break up, go as scorched earth as you want, because he has shown he doesn't actually value your life at all. In the comments, Blonde Throwaway says, quote, he said had he not run, his natural rage would have taken over and he would have killed the guy. I ugly laughed at this. Bravo, OP, for taking decisive action and leaving this loser in the dust like he deserves. I don't think you'll get any real satisfaction from anything but blocking him and moving on with your life. Sky replies, Brave Sir Robin ran away, bravely ran away, away. Oh my god, I love Monty Python. The respectable JC says, just ghost him, you know, like he did to you. It's for the best. I think he'll understand. I mean, she might end up killing him with all that natural rage after all. New Ginger says, sounds like your ex-boyfriend has warrants. He didn't want to be there when the cops came as they would ask him for his name and ID. Probably for effing parking tickets. Chucky or Law says, Based reference. I don't know. He really just sounds like a pussy. I'm not saying that in some kind of keyboard warrior tough guy way. I hope that I would never ever do that, obviously, but I'm not trying to put myself in his shoes. That said, it really doesn't come across as suspicious to me at all. Just cowardly. But like, really cowardly. Like, Aiden, bro, come on, man. Quote, he said that had he not run, his natural rage would have killed the guy. Thanks, I hate him. Back up to the post, we have an edit. Guys, I'm floored by this response. I have almost 1,700 unread messages in my inbox and feel like I missed out on the conversation when I was at my internship today. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't heard from Aiden since last night, so I hope that means he got the effing message. I don't know what I'm gonna do, as a day monitoring aluminium reactions has calmed me down a bit. Not sure, but this is my biggest Reddit post ever by a long shot. And now, on to the update. Well, that was Thursday, and I think I was a little wound up and trying to find the humor in the situation. On Friday, it really settled in that I was assaulted with a screwdriver held to my throat. I know that wasn't the mugger's intent, but the outcome was the same. I've spent the last 2 days in my room just trying to figure out who I talked to. I haven't told anyone and even tried to go out last night, but was too afraid to walk to my car late, so I left really early and then walked with my keys between my fingers, between my car and apartment, and haven't really left. I would love any advice on how to get on with getting past this. As for Aiden, he has left me about a dozen angry emails and VMs blaming me for parking where he did, not running away like he did, and then exposing him to the police. He's an incredible piece of shit, but since I don't want to talk about any of it, I haven't blown his shit up, as I asked in the original. Not sure what I'm going to do. I've blocked him in every way I know, but just now he created a fake Gmail to berate me again. I think everyone was right. He has some sort of police past, along with being an incredible coward, and he thinks that I'm going to let them know where to find him. I will talk with the ADA sometime this week, as well as victim advocates, and seeing how this will truly blow his shit up, maybe I'll slip his name along. So that's where we all are. Thanks for reading and keeping up with my drama. And now in the comments, Monsieur Ledude says, right now you need to focus on yourself. Please consider counseling. Talking to a professional about this colossal violation and its aftermath will likely do you a world of good in the long run. I'm sorry Aiden outed himself yet again as the cowardly piece of crap he so clearly is. But perhaps one way to get him to back off is to tell him that your next step will be to contact the police about his harassment in order to get a restraining order against him. If he's afraid of you alerting authorities to his whereabouts, it might get him to finally go away. To be honest, if the harassment continues, I would pay a visit to the police with copies of his emails without saying a word to him. Let him learn the consequences of his choices the hard way. I wish you the best, and I'm sorry that this has happened to you. And I agree with Monsieur Ledude. I feel like this is the best way forward for OP in this situation. No one deserves to be put through what they did, and no one deserves to be abandoned and then abused after the fact. And again, he is cowardly, he is a piece of crap, he has once again outed himself. Really does feel like a restraining order is the only way to keep Aiden and people like this away. But I want to turn this to you guys. What do you guys reckon of this situation? Would you have done the same as OP, and what would you do going forward? I want to know what you have to say down in the comments below. Our next post is by user ThrowRA88Rising, titled, Am I the a-hole for not lying to my boyfriend about my match day? So I, male 28, and my boyfriend, male 32, have been together for 4 years. Our relationship has been amazing, except for when we have special occasions or gatherings. He is a really sensitive and emotional type, to the point that it gets awkward and embarrassing. Match day is a day when med students find out where they will do their residency. I've been extremely stressed because I was hoping for my first choice and didn't need any extra stresses. My boyfriend asked what time the event that my program was hosting to reveal the match day results, and I just knew that he would be over the top with emotion and cause me embarrassment, so I lied and told him a time well after I would find out. Match day was Friday, and I got my first choice. My boyfriend arrived an hour before the event ended and was visibly upset with me. He went home after and won't return my calls. Am I the a-hole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. My lying to my boyfriend to avoid him making an emotional scene and causing him to miss a very important event in my life. Well, based off of the information provided thus far, I'm gonna go with you're the a-hole for this one. You're excluding your partner on the sole basis that they're going to be emotional and you're going to feel embarrassed by their emotions. If that's the case, why did you choose to be with this person? And if you realized that lying by omission was wrong, then you obviously know that you've done something wrong here. There was a reason that you didn't tell your boyfriend to come at this specific time. If you needed to hide it from him, you knew that it was going to hurt him. You're intentionally hurting your boyfriend. There's no wonder that your boyfriend is not responding to you. In bird culture, that is considered a dick move. So yes, you're the a-hole. In the comments, Big Boy Big Problem says, you're the a-hole. Relationships are built on honesty and trust. You find a man being emotional too embarrassing to be around. Please take a look at yourself and ask why you don't want to be with this man who is openly vulnerable with you, which is such an amazing trait for him to have. You should never have lied to him, and if you find his authentic self to be too embarrassing for you, then do him a favor and break up with him. Bone Steel replies, there is being able to show emotion and going over the top. Not everyone wants every event to be a cry fest. Big Boy Big Problems replies to that, okay then, don't enter a relationship with someone like that and then exclude them from the important moments of your life because of it. Belkira Hotep replies, my ex-husband had a company picnic while we were still married and he told me that it was employees only. I said cool, have fun, see you later. And when he got home, he was complaining about his boss at the event and said that the guy berated an employee at the picnic in front of his wife and kids. I sympathized at first and then said, wait, I thought it was employees only. He said that he didn't want me there because he hated his job, hated his boss, and he didn't want me to see him in that environment. When I got upset that he lied to me, he said he didn't tell me beforehand because he knew that I'd be upset and we'd fight just like we are now. I said that I was upset that he was lying to me. And I can admit I probably would have been hurt, but at least he would have been honest and I would have gotten over it. We divorced later for other reasons, but that picnic still sticks with me. Beneficial Math replies, that sounds exactly like something my rat bastard of an ex-husband would have done. He died about 10 years ago, and to the best of my knowledge, he never found another woman foolish enough to take him on. Sometimes, I wonder if there is a 3D printer churning out endless copies of douchebags like him. Coffee Addict says, yes, you're the a-hole for lying instead of having an open conversation with him. Now he's going to question everything you say. OP replies, I will try to be more honest with him about this. Coffee Addict retorts, I'm glad to hear that. Communication and trust are huge for a healthy relationship. Squat Cobbler says, you're the a-hole. Your relationship is wonderful, but you're embarrassed to be seen with him at any gatherings or events? Do you hear yourself? And OP says, I just wanted this moment to be about me and not my boyfriend crying for 15 minutes. Flying Cactus 2047 replies, does he cry super loudly or accompany it with a bunch of emotion or something? Like, does it actually draw attention, or do you think that he's quietly crying for too long? Because I would hate the first option as well, but the second of him just being emotional for a while should be okay. OP replies, usually it's very noticeable and can draw attention. Pleasant Koala replies, is he able to calm himself down, or does the behavior continue until others come to calm him down? Not My Username 1986 says, OP said in another comment that he caused such a scene at a friend's baby shower while the guest of honor was opening presents that OP had to bring him outside to calm him down. This is not remotely normal behavior. Back up to the post, we have an edit. Thank you everyone who has commented and gave me advice. I'd like to preface by saying I love my boyfriend and know what I did was shitty and could have been avoided by a conversation. That being said, he did text saying he wants to talk. I'll update when I can. Edit 2, yes, I know the title is wrong. I was thinking between two different titles and fudged it up. Sorry. To those who keep asking, I do love and adore my boyfriend. And now, onto the update. So wow, the response I got back from this has been pretty massive. Unfortunately, I can't read all of the comments, but I'm surprised to not automatically be shunned as the asshole. I know what I did was not only messed up, but lacked consideration for my boyfriend. He texted me, yay, last night, and said that he wanted to talk about what happened. My stomach dropped, like that feeling you get on a roller coaster. We met this morning at our favorite little bakery, and I got him his favorite macarons and breakfast sandwich. At first, I was really nervous and anxious that what I did was irreversible. I, of course, told him that not only was I sorry, but explained why I did it. We hadn't really had this kind of conversation, so he was pretty taken aback by why I didn't want him there. Fortunately, he said that he understood, but was really hurt that I didn't talk to him and found a reason to lie to him instead. He said that he still wanted to be with me, yay again, but that we should try counseling both together and separate. He was concerned that his many emotional bouts caused attention to be taken away and placed on him whenever we went to any special event. After breakfast, we just walked around his neighborhood and held hands. Not really into PDA due to trauma. He invited me back to his place to see the dog, and so now I'm just writing this laying in bed. I might have another update, I don't know. Thank you to everyone who said you're the a-hole, and anyone else who did not, thank you for your comments too. In the comments, Silly Measurement asks, were you matched in the same state or will you need to move? Will the matching affect your relationship moving forward? And OP replies, that's for another post. Right now, we're just taking it a day at a time. Squidgemobile says, frankly, match day parties are such a terrible idea. One of my closest friends broke down crying because she got so far down on her list and other people were visibly distressed. 2 people left when they didn't match. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Doc Throwaway 2020 says, as far back as I'm aware, 2016 match here, you find out the Monday before results are released if you matched at all or not. The rest of the week is for those who didn't initially match to SOAP into programs that didn't completely fill. So those 2 people wouldn't have been surprised at the party if they didn't match, period. What may have happened is that they were applying for a competitive specialty and appropriately also ranked programs in a backup specialty. In that case, Monday is only a small relief because it's Friday when you find out if you got your dream or not. Mr. Slab Bulkhead says, you are really lucky he didn't break up with you. Appreciate that he still loves you, devote yourself to strengthening the relationship, and get into that counseling with him. And now, on to the final update. Many of you were spot on about my boyfriend not only being amazing, but also sensitive. Something I find cute as well, and thoughtful. As soon as I typed up the first update, I went to take a shower. Upon getting out, my boyfriend is in a suit and there is an envelope in his hand. Yeah, I think now would be cause to cry. He said that we can do our own match ceremony. Inside the envelope was a paper saying you match with insert hospital and OP's boyfriend. Yeah, I did tear up, and my boyfriend absolutely cried, but my god, he is a pretty crier. And yes, we have made sure that we are on the same page. In the comments, What the F says, very happy update. Still very glad that he's willing to get therapy, and that he recognizes that taking attention away from everyone else during their big moments is a problem. Not gonna lie, finding out that his family call themselves crying connoisseurs heavily hints that he has had to have big, outsized emotional reactions or not be taken seriously. Similar to people who don't take pain seriously if someone isn't screaming, or people who feel the need to fake a loud orgasm because their partner doesn't believe a small one. That shit will not only impact his relationships in terms of people not wanting him there, but also can be really rough on him internally also. Best of luck to you two. Accomplished Cheek 59 says, I can be like the boyfriend, and my emotions are always close to the surface. I can't always control it and find it highly embarrassing, but I ensure it doesn't affect anyone around me. I remove myself from situations if I'm getting too emotional, get myself under control, and return as quietly as possible so that people barely notice I was gone. All of my family and friends know this about me and appreciate that I refuse to steal their thunder by behaving inappropriately. There is no way the boyfriend doesn't know that crying for 15 minutes at someone else's baby shower isn't appropriate reaction. It steals focus. Suddenly, the mother-to-be isn't the star because everyone's trying to stop you from crying. If your partner is trying to avoid you being present at certain big moments in their life because they know you will be so emotional that they have to care for you rather than enjoy their moment, then they are not the problem. From personal experience, there are ways to ensure that you can be present for their moments and hide a too big emotional reaction. While this is sweet, I think OP got a lot of unnecessary hate. His solution wasn't the best one, but if the boyfriend refuses to regulate his emotions, there aren't a whole lot of other options. I guess my final word on this one, I obviously went into it with limited information, and I still stand by that initial "you're the a-hole." But actually, after getting more information, I think it's a no a-holes here situation. I just think that these guys need to communicate more, and it is good that they are communicating now. OP has redeemed themselves in my eyes, and that they are willing to get help and go to therapy and talk with their partner. I do hope that in the future they can come to better compromises together, and that the boyfriend can be included in big events without OP having to worry. Again, I would like to know what you guys think of this one down in the comments below. Our next post is titled, "Am I the a-hole for kicking my husband out of the delivery room after he started crying?" So my husband Kevin, male 31, and I, female 27, welcomed our first baby a week ago. Kevin is the type of person that gets stressed out easily and reacts to events negatively. We've had conversations about his ability to handle being in the delivery room. I said if he couldn't be there it was fine, as I know how he reacts under pressure, and I could just have my mum there instead. He said he could 100% handle anything and promised to be supportive and positive. I went into labor alone, he met me at the hospital, and when he entered the room, he looked so stressed out and overwhelmed already. He started moving around periodically, completely ignoring me. He got more visibly stressed when my pain got intense. He took my hand when I started having contractions and kept clutching it, almost stopping blood circulation. My entire arm went numb. I felt strained, and although I was in intense pain, I saw his face. It was so red, and there was a visible vein in his forehead, and it looked like it was about to blow up. It was not helpful at all. In fact, it was frustrating, and it affected my emotions negatively. But still, I was willing to suck it up, and then suddenly he started crying, like literally sobbing really loud. This sent me into full panic mode. I found myself screaming, telling him to stop several times, and as a result, he literally yelled back in my ear. The nurse got involved, and I told her to get him out of there. He tried to argue with me, but wasn't given a chance, and was pressured to leave the room. I didn't see him afterwards, after our daughter was born, and while I was resting, he didn't show up either. His mum kept calling to see where he was. She stayed with me, and I haven't seen him till the day that I was discharged. We had a big fight at home. He kept lashing out when I said how bad it was for him to ghost me when I needed him. He said that I shouldn't expect him to stick around after cruelty, and selfishly kicked him out of the room and robbing him of an opportunity to see his daughter's first breaths. I explained that he was causing me to panic with how he was crying, but he accused me of making up excuses, and I was purely at fault for kicking him out and getting the staff to gang up on him no matter how hard I tried to spin it. He said that as a dad, he should have the liberty to be in the room no matter how he behaves, and whether I like it or not. I got tired of arguing, and I told him to stop, and he said he will, but he will never forget what I have cost him that day, and then he walked out. I was so mad, and I took some time to cool off. Then when I unpacked my bag, I found a small box that contained a necklace with our daughter's name. I felt awful knowing that Kevin left it for me to wear at the hospital, but the argument happened, and he spent the entire time in the car in the hospital's parking lot. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I could be the a-hole for kicking him out and robbing him of the joy of welcoming our daughter that he looked forwards to for months. I believe I have made a selfish decision. While I do agree that in some respects your decision was selfish, it had to be selfish. It had to be a selfish decision. He was destroying the moment. He was verbally attacking you there. He was stressing you out much more than you needed to be stressed. His actions were not those of a supportive partner. They were those of someone that cannot handle their own emotions, has no self-awareness of the fact that, yes, this is an important moment, but if I'm going to ruin the moment, if I'm going to cause more stress than necessary, if my presence is a net negative, maybe I should not put myself in this stressful environment to begin with. Maybe I have some issues that I need to sort out beforehand. Yes, this is a very much momentous occasion for me myself, but will I taint this memory? Will I hurt my partner with my actions and my words? It seems as though he lacks any ounce of self-awareness. His actions were in fact selfish. This is yet another occasion where it appears that communication prior to the event would have helped smooth this over, but he has done so much damage to you during an incredibly vulnerable moment that he deserved to be kicked out of that room. He deserved to be kicked out of the hospital. He's actually an asshole for what he's done to you, so not the asshole OP. He sucks for that. In the comments, Stoat King says, not the a-hole. He said as a dad he should have liberty to be in the room no matter how he behaves and whether I like it or not. I laughed at this because it is so wrong and entitled. Forgive me for laughing. It's not funny, but like, wow. That is balls to the wall delusion. Double wow. Not only did you not need him, but he was upsetting you. That is the opposite of fulfilling your needs. In the end, who is in the delivery room is up to you. I imagine this is usually based on who you think will be most helpful and or supportive. He was neither. He was quite the opposite. He needs to give his head a good shake. His role was one of support, and he failed on every level. Good for you for putting your foot down, and to the staff who did the right thing. Quote, he kept lashing out when I said how bad it was for him to ghost me when I needed him. It was bad. Some would say borderline unforgivable. And then to come back and double down with this untimely and even more inappropriate tantrum? I can't even. He was a huge asshole for taking off after getting kicked out, and for being entirely selfish at the time and now. Maybe he couldn't handle his behavior at the hospital, but he is still blaming her and not himself, and it's so shitty. Nothing Incriminating says, yeah, the fact that this wasn't a moment of panic thing, but something he has rationalized and doubled down on for days, has honestly just terrifying implications for how he's going to parent. A man who will make someone in labor bear the undue burden of managing his mental illness will do the same for a small child. He will lash out, stress the kid out for reasons she can't possibly understand, and then refuse to apologize. She will grow up with the message that daddy's cruel, volatile behavior is her fault for not carefully controlling herself, bottling up her own emotions, refusing to express her own needs. OP, do you have any idea how badly that can F up a kid, especially a girl? I don't want to catastrophize because I don't know your husband or whether he is willing to entertain psychiatric intervention when push comes to shove. But this issue is a poison pill for your family, and you need to acknowledge that. I'm a 28-year-old woman who grew up with that dad, and as that kid you described. Can confirmed, it effed me up in a lot of ways. OP, please try to talk to your husband about therapy before your little girl gets too much older. His behavior set off so many red flags, and both you and your newborn deserve better. Epijade says, oh, hello, you just described my childhood, and it sucked. Mine too, can confirm. BG48111 says, same for me. Anything that would set him off had to be controlled. As a teen, I was socked in the face because I was too snarky for him. If I cried, he would get angry and mock me. I'm looking at a milestone birthday, and I'm still afraid to cry because of the conditioning. I really hope that OP realizes her husband is wrong and she is not to blame for his self-control issues and won't let him control her daughter. Not the a-hole. Kevin needs therapy ASAP. He is right to be angry, but his anger is misdirected. It should be aimed at himself because he failed big time. If he can't admit this and apologize to you, I don't see how the two of you can remain married. MDSN Bell says, not the a-hole at all. You are the one in labor. Your comfort and safety are paramount. If his behavior is causing you to panic, you bounce him because that's not good for the baby either. Look, my dad passed out in the delivery room. I was a mum/baby candy striper for a number of years in high school. Some men just can't handle being in the room while their wife is in pain. There is no judgment for that, as everyone is different. His behavior after the birth is what's concerning. You rightfully tossed him out of the moment, and then he takes off to the point where his own mother doesn't know where he is? Oh, hell no! That is not okay. I do like reading these long comments because you get so many different viewpoints and stories that I don't think you'd normally get from posts just reading them. It's sad to see just how bad some people's upbringings are and the people they trust in their lives being such terrible people. Just seems so dangerous to raise your child with a husband like that around. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to say besides I hope that OP gets away from this man. I'm sure therapy can help mitigate the damage, but this seems to be someone that is going to do damage to your child regardless. Anyway, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below. Hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.